you didn't sign the ballot, or you didn't sign your envelope, or there's
Right.
different things. So you go to those houses and you adjudicate them, and you say, hey, if you want to fill this declaration out, your vote will count. And so in that process, outside of the clerk's office, I was told, if you squeak this out, we're gonna recall you. I was like, "Oh, all right," and I kind of laughed that off.
Right. So why do you think- why-
But then Supervisor Garmin, when the I don't even know if I've even ever talked about this. Now that you that's interesting. In an interview here at KCNR, you just asked me a question but Supervisor Garmin said at one point when we were talking about the hand counting thing, he goes, if you go down this road, they're going to recall you. And I didn't care, like whatever, But then at the time, I thought, came into my office and was a little frustrated that I didn't.
Well, do you think that was inside information or just speculation?
I don't know. I've never asked him because our relationship went so far south so fast. And Tim and I get along. I mean, Supervisor Garmer and I get along now. I mean, because we know that we're both seated on the board and we've got a job to do collectively for the people. So I mean, to me, I can put personal differences aside all day long. Like I caught in high school. I caught maybe a game. Let me see. No, I caught maybe 4 games in college.
You talk about being a catcher.
Yeah,
in a baseball
yeah.
team.
I'm sorry. Yeah, being a catcher. So, but and I could catch pitchers I didn't get along with or didn't like.
Sure.
They might have broken a curveball off in the dirt more than I would have liked, just to make me mad. But at the end of the day, like I can get along with people that I don't agree with. But if you have a job to do, you just do the job.
Do you know what gripes me the most is I can get along with anybody as long as they're honest about their position.
There you go. And that's what this recall thing has really been about. And I spoke about that on my show this morning, and I will plug, if you want to go back and listen to the archive, you can go to my Vote Kevin Cry Facebook page. I'm sorry, you can go to votekevincry.com and you can see Vote Kevin Cry has the stream, but the sound wasn't perfect because Wi-Fi cut it in and out. But you can go to votekevincry.com and get the radio archive. And you can listen to it. And I kind of went off a little bit this morning because the recall people, they just lie. They just
about everything.
Everything. I mean, when they say that it costing them millions of dollars. I mean, go ask our auditor controller. Go ask the person that truly deals with the money and reconciles what we're saving the county money. Many decisions that this board majority have put through have saved the county money.
Why do you think you were chosen as the recall, other than? Are you the easiest and the most vulnerable?
Well, that's what they said. I was called, quote unquote, low-hanging fruit because I won by the smallest amount of votes. But now, I'm not going to over-spiritualize it, but I think that this calling on my life, doing this, I'm glad they came after me. I'm glad. And I'm not saying that Chris or Patrick
put fire in the furnace, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm glad because I'm not, I'm not saying Chris or Patrick wouldn't have fought, and I'm not saying they haven't fought, and I'm not saying that Patrick's not fighting now in his election. But I'm unbreakable. I mean, I have not compromised. I have not bent, and I think a lot of other people would. I mean, I think we've seen supervisors over the years bend and kowtow.
Well, and I got to say something here I've been thinking about this for a while, and we haven't had a chance to talk. Is that we didn't get off on the best of foots to start with.
I didn't get off on the best foot with a lot of people. Well, I mean, Repose is another one. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But what I was going to say is, I got to compliment you. You have turned out to be a stand-up constitutional guy, and to the point that you surprised me a few times because I didn't expect it. But I gotta say, I gotta apologize for judging a book without even opening the cover. And so I just wanted you to know that I really appreciate what you have done for the county and what you're doing for the county, and I think you're doing a freaking stand-up job.
I appreciate that. It means a lot. It really does. I mean, in my accidental pompous arrogance, I tried to see if I could take an hour of your guys' show, not even knowing that you guys had this really long standing 2-hour running show for years. And I'm thinking, hey,
12 years. And
but this is why I'm self-employed. Like I would be fired. Like
see, that's where we are on the exact same wavelength. I've been self-employed since I was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
And when you're used to being in charge of stuff, because that's how stuff gets done.
Yeah.
And the ball, the buck stops here.
Yep.
And when two people that are used to the buck stopping here get together, sometimes there's a clash.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Amen, brother. I mean, because for me,
I have to put a plug in for you too, because you do listen to the people. I know several people that have called you outside of your district in regards to different things, and you have answered the call and talked with them, and it's gotten back to me. So I wanted to let you know
thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
There's been several.
And I don't want this to be the kiss up
no,
club.
no,
No,
I'm just, I mean,
Yeah.
we have a lot of stuff we deal
Oh, no,
with together.
yeah.
But yeah, I know people say, well, I called Kevin Craig because he was one of the few board of supervisors that actually responded to me.
Well, thank you.
There you go.
We have let me see, R2, R1, R2, R3, R4, I think, on our agenda this week is a whistleblower presentation. And I'm doing that because I am inundated with county employees coming to me saying, hey, look,
There's a problem. Huh?
I don't know what happens with this election. I've never really been politically involved, but you need to know X, Y, and Z. And so it's been so overwhelming with county employees coming to me. When I found out, when I had somebody tell me that, my personal, like my supervisor emails were being shared.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I talked about that today for the very first time, because you know what? There's so much. I don't want to make it look like sour grapes if the election doesn't go my way. And when I say my way, I mean Shasta County's way.
Right.
Because my life, regardless, gets better after March 5th, in the sense that I go back to being a full-time dad, a full-time business owner, and just doing what I've always done in terms of just,
Or you're going to fix the problem.
or I'm going to keep going on the path
Yeah.
of fixing all this stuff. And what gets me is the amount of people that have come forth in various departments. And then, so we have a lot of questions, I'm already working on probably 8 to 12 different things. And those are going to continue regardless. But the difference is, and like, this is what we did see. I went to the Rand Paul event last night, and he talked about, he's not going to quit till Fauci's in prison. And he said it is the best documented, or not just well researched, but the best documented cover up in the history of mankind.
Of criminal activity.
Of criminal activity. He said
Yeah.
it's all right there. And he said because of the judicial system under President Biden, stuff's not completely coming out. But he said it will. Yes.
Yeah. And with that, we got a caller on the line. We've got Jimmy. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning, folks. Hey,
What you got?
good morning. I seen a commercial that accused Kevin Cry of lying about how Gavin Newsom can appoint a new board of supervisors member, right? Well, I looked up, I'm not the brightest star in the sky, but I looked up California Code Section 25060, which states whenever a vacancy occurs in a board of supervisors, the governor shall fill the vacancy. The appointee shall hold office until the election and qualification of his or her.
So I'm
successor.
having a little bit of a legal background. Shall means will, not may.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm just throwing that out there because it seems Gavin Newsom did appoint Vianney Lopez into office, and that was in after Carmen Ramirez was hit by a car and sadly passed away. And in Yolo County, the Board of Supervisors, Mary Sandy, was replaced by Gavin Newsom.
Yeah. He's
So
done it 5 or 6 times in recent memory.
Right, but that's what struck me is like, they said that you lied that he cannot appoint a Board of Supervisors member, and he has.
Yeah. Well, so here's what I want to tell you. And Jimmy, thanks for calling. I've never met you. I don't think. I don't recognize a voice.
Yeah, one time in passing, like when you first ran, but yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling. But the one thing I'll tell you is what gets me the most, okay, is one of the leaders of the recall was our former public defender. Here's a person that is an attorney, and just the lies that this guy tells makes me sick to my stomach. And then you have the superintendent of schools. The ex-superintendent of schools is another one of the big proponents. Extremely amounts of lying. So when you look at the judicial system and you look at our school systems and how screwed up these two men are, and I won't even attack the female, but I'm going to attack those two men because man to man, it bothers me that they can sit up there, spew the lies, and they're not held accountable.
There's no accountability at
Yeah,
all.
and because I'm an elected official, libel, slander, malicious intent, all that stuff is out the window. They can say whatever they want, but that's okay because when I'm up there and I'm up there and they're up there saying whatever they want to say about me, spewing more hate and more lies, I take it because I'm elected to take it, and it's they get to walk through Costco, and people are going to know who they are the rest of their life. And people and I see people walking through Costco, they may believe things they've heard, but it isn't the truth, because there is no way the people of this county that I've met, even not even just in the county, but across this country, that have reached out, the quality of human being, the hardworking Americans that have reached out to me and support me, I think that says droves about what I believe in the people that support me. It's the quality and character of the people that support me.
Well, I think if you're getting attacked, you can be rest assured that you're over the target, because I've been attacked on a lot of stuff. You've seen some of this stuff, and it's like these people are crazy. That's my opinion. They're freaking bat.
Yeah. These are people that were picked last in kickball, almost guaranteed, and they've had an axe to grind since they were 8 years old. And here's what scares me: is when you have somebody who's a former public defender, and he is as corrupt as a person as there could be when it comes about. I mean, even look at he did a statement on Action News Now, and you're not supposed to talk about that. Go watch his statement. Watch his shifty eyes. Watch him move back and forth. And I'm not saying that I'm not a little bit studied as a public speaker, because I do some of that too. But when you can't recite facts and things that you believe is as deep as this man should, he should be able to recall that stuff. He should be able to say it that without fidgeting, without stumbling, without whatever. And it's just built on lies.
You don't have to recall anything if you're telling the truth.
Exactly. You don't have to remember stuff.
Right.
And
this is my problem with it, looking at it just in passing, hearing these situations. So you end up seeing these news advertisements that are being run against you, and they're saying that you're costing them money. Well, you start digging into it, and I started digging into it. Oh, yeah, you ended up costing them money because you eliminated a program that cost $3 million and you replaced it with a program that cost 1.5. This is the type of thing that they constantly say.
We still have Jimmy on the line, so unless you got something else, Jimmy, we'll say.
No, guys. I just wanted to throw out California Code 25060.
Jimmy, thanks for doing the research. Thanks for doing the looking into it. And, if you know voters in District 1, make sure that they know, because not everybody does the research like you did.
I just want to call in and say that commercial was very misleading. Gavin Newsom can and has called or appointed board members.
And he'll do it here as fast as he can.
I can almost guarantee you he will do it here.
And the other thing is,
thank you.
All right, thanks a lot,
Jimmy.
We appreciate it.
And I know this because Reading in the world is very, very small. I know they're already lobbying for certain people. I understand, like Suzanne Barrymore wanted to be the person they put forth in District 1 because she was a District 1 resident. I was told, now again, when I had her on my show, I didn't verify this, but it's been said. And again, I'm not saying this is truth. This is secondhand. But one of the reasons she was pushed out of the group, I understand, was because she wanted to start positioning herself as the person that should be appointed, or the group should lobby for if I'm gone. So when they pushed her out of the group, she moved to District 2 and ran there.
And when we say that
and again, I'm saying this to say I never spoke to her, but that was the rumor and everything that I heard, because why would you push somebody out of the group that was one of the lead people of that group?
At one time, yeah.
Oh yeah, her and the other two were leading it, and then they pushed her out.
And I think when we say they, I think what we need to understand is the separation of the two sides, if you will, is the left-wing, ultra-liberal people, and middle over, all the way over, and then you've got the right-wing, ultra people from the middle all the way over. And I think the guys on the right believe in the Constitution. They believe in truth in general. They believe in morality, the Ten Commandments, if you will. I don't think the left believes in anything but power and money and position and they might say they believe in, let's say, taking care of the homeless, but when it comes down to it, when they get into power,
they don't take care of the homeless.
They don't take care of the homeless.
They don't take care of the homeless. Yeah, I mean, some of the most liberal people I've met in this community that are just screaming and yelling and beating the drum about programs and services and dollars and resources. They do nothing. They do nothing. And at the end of the day, this at-home process that we've had, again, I'm not excited about the money we spend on a huge amount of people who choose not to work. But the reality is we have the hand we're dealt in Shasta County, and especially in the state of California. And it is not going to get better it's going to get much, much worse.
I
With the
think
border
what-
open.
I think what the left has done is created an industry.
Oh no, it's
around
a
this.
complex. It's like
Yes.
it's the military complex.
Yeah, because I mean, you look around, you got all these different NGOs all the way around that are here to help the handicap and the helpless and the homeless and all of that.
Dig into some of these nonprofits.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then put metrics to it. And it is, I mean, I don't, that's just not, some of that stuff isn't my jurisdiction until it comes down to an HHSA contract or dollar. Then it becomes my business. And those are the ones, I mean, Laura Birch has done a great job. If I stay in office, I would like to say when I stay in office, we are going to really push more into an audit division of HHSA and looking at those contracts.
That's what we
But
talked
if
about
you-
with WIN, because it's like that's half the budget or more.
Yeah.
And if you look into a lot of these, you can see that the same people are connected with the nonprofits. I've done some investigating, if you want to say that, and it's a group, and it's all interconnected, and it's so tangled into some of the programs. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's like $600 million plus dollars.
Yeah. Well, the one thing is you get, and I try not to talk about the other races a lot because I try and stay, pretty neutral. That's one thing.
Right.
That has been a struggle, but also it's recognizable. I mean, there's the assembly race. Doug LaMalfa, like I was pretty frustrated with him a long time ago that he wouldn't get involved in my race against the candidate in 22 I ran against. But I understood you never do down ticket stuff, and we talked quite a bit actually. But he jumped in with this recall because he sees it for what it is, and there comes a point in every man's
power
life
grab.
or woman's life that just says, "Look, I can't sit idly by." And when you look at these races, when people want to attack Patrick, that he's been in office this long, well, guess what? Patrick has never been on the board majority in almost his entire political career.
Only
That is
for
true.
the last few years.
Well, the last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really the last year. I mean, the last, partial after the recall of Modi and Garmin sitting there, Patrick, Les, and Garmin made up a majority for a short time. But even then,
Yeah, because even when he was on city council,
oh no, he was always
Yeah.
So it's 4-1, 4-1, 4-1.
Yeah, and then of course you could go into the history of Bozzetti and Cad and Jones. And,
Oh, I have
well, and I
got
don't
plenty
even,
of dirt.
Yeah,
but
and I don't even
let's-
want to go down
Yeah.
that road
Yeah.
because what I realize now is that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like I thought this board.
That was the norm.
Yeah, I thought this board was going to be 4-1 more. Like
Right.
and it's okay. Everyone has their right to their opinions, their whatever, how they get there. But what I know is I'm going to keep bringing up questions that the community has, and I always try to. Anytime somebody from a different district reaches out, I push that to the other districts. There's one district that I almost don't even bother because nothing happens.
Right.
So in that particular district, I just tend to like reach out to people.
Well, this this whole thing culminated with the Modi recall because that's and Trump and all of this it's the people that have been doing nothing for a long time, minding their own business, keeping to themselves, running their businesses and so forth, finally figured out because they've been being lied to in the media and everything that they need to get involved in all politics, local especially, and started surging. And that's why we've seen the changes on the board. And that's what's happening. And this is really a movement of the people. This isn't just about Kevin crying a recall.
Yeah.
This is about a movement of the people starting to get control over their local governments.
yeah, because they saw the corruption. We saw that overreach of the government back during the jab and stuff and the closing of the schools. And we were thinking, oh, it's just at the top.
Right.
And then once you start getting involved and seeing different things, you realize how corrupt it is
Oh.
right here in our backyard in little old Shasta County. And you go, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I could go on and on. Like I'm trying to just.
So let's maybe go back to issues. Are you for term limits?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Measure C, then that's a yes. How about measure
Well,
D?
and let me tell you this about term limits too, really quick. The thing is, if you work with, if you say I'm going to clean my garage, Saturday. So in your mind you say Saturday. Guess how long it's going to take you to clean your garage? All day. It's going to take all day. But if you say I'm going to clean my garage by 10 a.m., guess when that's going to be done? 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And
Right.
people in private industry understand that.
Yep.
So, Supervisor Rickert, this is her 8th year, and I got to say it, like she's been there 8 years. I'd like to hear her accomplishments. What has she sponsored? What has she passed? What has she brought to voters? What has she done in 8 years? And she wants 4 more. And she was actually for term limits. Now she's not. And here's the reason for me that I will say when it comes to term limits is I think it's important because you got to train up and you got to get people engaged where you're going to hand that baton off to 2 or 3 good candidates. I'm not going to have my heir apparent. If I stay in office and whenever I choose not to run, I'm going to have 2 or 3 people and they can run against each other. I'll help 3 of them. but get people involved, get people running. So
Right.
I'm all for term limits because it makes you want to get things done. That's
Right.
why I'm sponsoring 3 things this next agenda. Let's get some stuff done. And you're going to the charter county. I'm
Yep,
sorry.
that's
Yeah.
next.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
So what? Maybe tell me what the 3 things are. 'Cause I went through the agenda the other day, but I don't have it in front of me and I don't remember anything. But I saw that you were sponsoring.
Well, yeah, I
three out of three
yeah.
of the items. I
Yeah,
think.
well, I'm sponsoring a presentation from Dr. Kieran O'Mahony from Ireland, and he lives in Seattle, but does a lot of stuff all over the world. He was Educator of the Year in India, in I think 2021 or 22. It's about how every child needs 4 positive every child needs 4 positive role models, adult role models in their life, and if they don't have that, it's staggering. It's staggering. The lack of success those individuals will have as adults if they don't have 4 positive role models,
Because
adult role
they
models.
default to social media. They
It's just
default to a bunch of
there's
crap.
and he's going to boil down 30, 40 years of research into 8 minutes. But
Okay.
I felt it was really important that the community hear it because I want to push this out to how we train social workers and how we train other people, because what we're doing right now is not working.
Right.
And here's the reality: is what I bring forward today, we're not going to know if it worked or not for 20 years unless we sustain and we do it for years. But it's about, we got to change up what we're doing, because if we're going to continue to do what we do, we're going to get what we've always had, and that's not success for our kids locally. And so that's the first. The second is we're doing the whole thing with the notary public. Noel DeShort, our clerk's office has been overcharging people for years, so we're going to make a vote. If that doesn't pass 5-0, I would be, nothing will surprise me, but that should pass 5-0 to return money to people that we've essentially illegally taxed.
Right.
Because this is like
Kind of like the impact
yeah,
fees.
well, this would be my second tax cut,
Right.
because bringing forth, suspending, then eventually terminating the impact fees is a tax cut, just like the notary public. We are over 30% overcharging people. Like, that's stealing from the people. That's the government. I mean, this is like Boston
Well,
Tea Party.
Garmin and Rickards wanted to not vote on that. They want to keep pushing everything off,
Oh, yeah.
which is typical government. Is to
Can't make
just
a decision.
They can't make a decision. Keep delaying everything and hope it goes away.
Exactly. It's
And the third?
it's the ostrich. It's the
Okay,
ostrich.
we've only got about 3 minutes left
And then-
here, so
yeah, and the third thing is the whistleblower report.
That's right,
Yeah,
right.
I'm sponsoring that. So I mean, and here's the thing: supervisors can sponsor whatever they want. Like, they can bring it forward all the time. So I'm just saying that we all. It's not because I'm chair. It's we all have the ability to bring stuff forward. So the charter county I sponsored, I have that, and I don't even know the last time. And again, this is the it's the self promotion I don't like, but I don't know how many first year supervisors pushed and got something on the ballot. And I think we have a great shot at getting that charter county through. And this is another lie of the recall group saying, oh, no. We want local control. We want local control. Don't give it to the board of
It's the freaking
supervisors.
opposite of
It's
that.
the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I could have the cure for cancer and they'd let their mothers die before they'd get the cure from Kevin Cry. I guarantee you. They are that blinded
Well,
by hate and vitriol.
we've seen Trump derangement syndrome,
Oh.
and I think we've got Kevin Cry derangement syndrome
Oh.
at the local level. It's absolute insanity.
I agree. So that chartered county, and again, what you see, and the only reason we put the supervisors could appoint there, because there could be, let's say a gap of 4 or 5 months at some point where appointing a supervisor and then going to an election would make sense.
We got about a minute here.
Yeah,
Is
so
that you want to get anything
vote
out?
yes, vote yes on the charter. 1,000%. Vote no on the recall. This is the last week. This is where it's like fourth and goal.
How do they get a hold of you, Kevin?
They can go to votekevincry.com. They can go to Vote Kevin Cry on Facebook. I give my cell phone out all the time, 530-524-0005. I still do it. I've done it on national TV. Call me, get to know me, but you got to get people to the polls in District 1, get them to vote, and get them to vote no on the recall, and keep me in office to finish the work all of you in District 1 elected me to do, which is bring local control and totally gut government corruption and giving the government back to the people, because that's who it belongs in. It belongs in the people's hands, not ours as supervisors.
And with that, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. And I think
they're
we're
gonna
at the
I think
they're
they're
going
gonna
to
cut us
off.
off.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
All right,
All
thanks,
guns
Kevin.
control
We
races.
appreciate it.
See y'all next week.